With the impending BRICS anti-dollar summit raising chatter about a possible gold-backed BRICS, how would it work? Economist Thorsten Polay wrote an article at Mises laying out one scenario. In his scenario, BRICS countries would deposit their gold, their sovereign gold, in a BRICS bank, getting interest in return. Then that gold would be lent out as paper bricks denominated in, say, a centigram of gold. This would put the BRICS in circulation. So the paper bricks would circulate, the gold would be safe in the BRICS bank, backing it. Individuals could also, in theory, deposit gold, receiving interest, and that too could be lent into circulation. This is, by the way, identical to how the dollar used to work. So the gold was in the vault, the paper certificates, the dollars, were lent into existence. In that scenario, those paper bricks would then be used by American importers to buy toasters, and the Chinese exporters could either keep the paper in their sock drawer or in their own bank, or they could deposit them in the BRICS bank and also receive interest on their gold, or the gold that that paper represents. So that's the general sketch. Now, Thorsten lays out the likely consequences, all in proportion to usage. 1, a rise in the price of gold, obviously. 2, a drop in the value of fiat currencies, like the dollar, euro, or yen. And 3, a giant sucking sound of gold flowing to the BRICS bank. Now, if this BRICS is widely used, that giant sucking sound could set off a runaway process as savers flee dollars for interest-bearing gold at BRICS. Now, what could go wrong? The big one is trust. Depositors, even countries, would have to trust that a BRICS bank will actually give them gold for their paper. The standard solution for trust is some sort of custodian separate from the BRICS governments who, alas, are not widely trusted. China's a control freak, Russia's desperate, Brazil has a long history of hyperinflation, and in fact, none of the BRICS countries particularly trust each other either. So BRICS countries might keep their physical gold in their own country, but simply paper deposit them to a BRICS bank set up in a neutral jurisdiction like Switzerland or Singapore. Still, this does not address individual trust. After all, if China or Russia decide to suspend gold conversion and stick you with the paper, Switzerland or Singapore can't do anything about it. So that would mean if they want individual deposits into this BRICS bank, they would need some non-government custodian, some neutral, trusted third party who makes decisions about redemptions. Now, this is possible. When Dubai decided to become an international business hub, they had to overcome fears about their judicial system, so they hired former British Supreme Court judges. Still, with BRICS redemption, the stakes are much higher, and it's hard to imagine China, for example, letting go of control, while Russia at the moment may well prioritize survival over redemption. So near-term trust may be impossible for individual deposits, and so a BRICS bank might just stick with the government gold and the government redemption. We will get more details as we get closer to the BRICS summit, but at the moment, such an intergovernment settling mechanism is probably the most we'll get. It's not a game changer for the dollar. It is an incremental change. And I think this mostly because I don't think China has the balls or the imagination. Everybody in the Chinese government is deathly afraid of making a mistake and being shipped off to Xinjiang. They are not famous for their innovation. Still, the gold-backed option, even if it doesn't happen this time around, is a fatal Achilles heel to the US dollar, indeed to all of fiat. Sooner or later, somebody is going to exploit it with gold backing, at which point big things happen. And when that day comes, the bill finally comes due on the 100 trillion fiat Bonzi. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.